How did these small plush toys become a $1 billion craze and then crash almost overnight? Beanie Babies were more than just toys. They were a cultural and economic phenomenon driven by clever marketing, scarcity tactics, and the human psychology of collecting. So, where did it start? So, this video was inspired by one thing, this guy right here. I got this fella from a friend at work, my little buddy. He brought me him, and I really started questioning what happened to those. Like, didn't those used to sell for like hundreds of thousands of dollars? So I figured I would go ahead and take a deep dive into it because how did something so simple and really kind of plain turn into a $1 billion corporation? Well, let's dive into it. Beanie Babies were created by the company Ty in the year 1993, which was established a few years earlier in 1986 by their founder, Ty Warner. The look of Beanie Babies was unique, appearing more lifelike in a sense, and they were stuffed with plastic pellets or beans instead of like stuffing or something, you know. The beans is what gave them their interesting look. But stores weren't really going all in on these toys yet. They really didn't see the appeal, and sales were slow for Ty for the first couple of years. So they went ahead and made a decision to cut back and restrict production and distribution. They also started, quote unquote, retiring characters, which means after a certain period of time, they would completely cease production of that character. This scarcity turned into a marketing genius ploy, and it really led to the increased sales and created a trend of collecting and reselling, a trend which then turned into a craze. TY, which is, I'm just going to call them Ty. I don't know if they go by Ty or TY. I'm calling them Ty. Anyways, Ty started dropping limited editions alongside the already mentioned retirement characters, which created artificial scarcity, which is essentially they control the market, they control the production and kind of the demand, I guess. So now that they have control over their own market, this really created intrigue. You pair that with emotional attachments, with each character having their own name, birthday, poems, etc. Some of these characters shipped out with misspellings or slightly different poems, and that led to those specific ones being sold for way more and being way more sought after. They were now a part of mid 90s culture forever, and they became a must have item. And the more you had, the cooler you were, I guess. And celebrities started getting their own Beanie Babies, such as Dennis Rodman, Jack Nicholson, and even Elvis. You best believe that they brought in some big money with that, especially with ones like the Princess Diana one still being on the market for upwards of $900,000. I don't know who's buying that. But it really seemed like everything was going right for Ty, especially with insane stats like this, where at one point, Beanie Baby sales took up 10% of the entirety of eBay's sales. 10% of everything eBay sold. 10% of that was Beanie Baby sales. That's just insane. So really, in reality, if you want to blame anybody for shoe resellers now, blame Beanie Baby sellers in the 90s. That's where it drives from. They were a massive hit and just a crazy phenomenon to even think about now. But leave it all up to speculation. FOMO, the fear of missing out, which I'm sure, have all experienced in our life. That was a huge part of Ty's marketing. With the retirements and limited characters, they were really making people have to buy in to absolutely everything. If you missed out on a drop, you could be missing out on what could eventually become the rarest character. It's kind of like the lottery, right? It gives the allure, the sense of quick profit. If you just get the timing right, you could hit it big, especially with stories starting to come out of sellers making thousands upon thousands of dollars off of rare Beanie Babies. And mind you, this is all off of sellers' value. They are saying that these plushes should be worth thousands of dollars, and they're selling them for that. And lots of people were willing to pay for that. While the majority of us see now they're only worth like $8 or something. But some paid the price, and online auctions really harkened in on this idea that they were worth so much more, with ranges of a few $100 to hundreds of thousands of dollars. But this also led to another problem: fakes. Fraud is really inescapable now, but we're much more aware of it, so it's a little easier to catch, even with the endless ways to fraud people. But in the 90s, it was a lot harder to catch it, and also not as many people were aware of it. So counterfeits started to come out of the woods in 1997, but they sure did not last long because authorities cracked down on it very, very quickly. Tons of people were prosecuted, loads of counterfeit Beanie Babies were seized, and some people were even arrested, all just for the hope that they would make a quick buck off this billion-dollar company. So what happened? How did it all crash so quickly? As every other thing, oversaturation of the market really kills it. And Ty was no stranger to this. After so many years of retiring characters, people caught on or just stopped caring, or both. With frequent drops of tons of new characters, they started losing their exclusivity, which they had been known for. They were no longer as special as how they had been before. Customers stopped paying thousands of dollars for them, as well as the perceived value of them had dropped significantly. So with the market diluted, plummeting resale values, and investor losses, the Beanie Baby market crashed. The craze was finally over. Collections that were once seen as inheritances to pass down for generations, to last forever, were now worth mere pennies, maybe dollars. Ty tried to revive the brand with new strategies and collections, but really with little to no success at all. So Beanie Babies were dead. They were no longer a strong cultural force like they were. So what are they today? 90s culture really is a unique thing, as it really was a unique time period, with the internet really becoming popularized, the word CGI being thrown out, and Beanie Babies were merely that, just a symbol of the time, a quick cash cow, just another thing joining the long list of things, joining 90s culture heaven alongside boy bands like NSYNC, movies like Titanic, and miscellaneous 90s items like rollerblades and fanny packs and Tamagotchis. And they served their purpose and also delivered a lesson that we really didn't seem to listen to, because it's something we still give into today. Because it's okay to be speculative of these things, as many people were with Beanie Babies back then. It was a hype-driven market, and that led to insane resale prices. And hype-driven markets are even bigger now, and they're even more dangerous. I mean, look at any modern collectible, like NFTs, for example. There are more often than not massive scams hidden within hype-driven markets, like Logan Paul's Crypto Zoo, which Beanie Baby shopping has just evolved with the times, with things like, I already mentioned, NFTs, sneaker culture, which just $600 plus for shoes is crazy, and even other toys or collectibles like Funko Pops. It's really just an evolution of that market. So what did we learn today? That Beanie Babies were just the right thing at the right time, blending clever marketing, emotional appeal, and speculative frenzy all in their favor. It all seems like an absurd phenomenon in hindsight, but it really reveals timeless truths about human nature and the power of slimy, gimmicky commerce, which, not to say Ty is perfectly ethical as a company, but for the time, they did have slightly slimy tactics. Not as bad as some of the companies nowadays, but still, they played their role in that. So all of this just because I got a Brontosaurus at work one day. Anyways, if you have any, let me know in the comments. I'm gonna go buy this $900,000 Princess Diana Beanie Baby real quick. And thanks for watching the video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Bye bye.